Hello girls, I hope you're staying safe at home. To continue with the skin chapter, today we are going to talk about the second layer of the skin, that is the dermis. So dermis is the inner thick layer of connective tissue. Remember, it is a connective tissue and it is made up of elastic fibers. So since it is made up of elastic fibers, it is tough and it is also flexible. Okay, at certain places the dermis in our skin is very thick, as you see on your palms and your sole, and sometimes it is very thin like in our eyelids. So if you see the eyelids, the dermis is very thin. Now the dermis contains other structures like blood vessels, nerve fibers, sensory organs, hair follicles, sweat glands. Okay, remember, leather that we get from the hides of animal is actually the dermis part of the skin. The epidermis is totally thrown out and it is the dermis which is used to make products of leather. Okay, now the outer region of the dermis, which lies just next to the epidermis, is raised into numerous small processes which is known as papillae. So here you can see there, up and down, this is the papillae. Okay, which contains blood vessels. Here you can see blood vessels are there, nerve endings are there. Okay, the nerve endings and sense organs here are concerned with sensations of touch and pain. So the sensations of touch and pain that you feel on the skin is actually in the dermis of the skin, that is below the epidermis. Now the sharp sense of touch in the skin of fingertips enables the blind to read the braille characters. You know how blind read and write, they have braille, that is pointed structures coming out. Okay, so they feel and then they study. There are some more sense receptors in the deeper parts which are concerned with sensations like pressure, pain, heat, cold. Okay, and then you can see fat cells here. Okay, so this layer of fat below the dermis, it is below the dermis, you can see. Okay, this layer is a reservoir of food, but also as a heat insulating layer as well as shock absorber. Now moving on to the derivatives of the skin. The main derivatives of the human skin are hair, nails, sebaceous glands, sweat glands, and mammary glands. Okay, now the hair has three parts. Okay, first is the hair shaft, is the part which projects from the skin and may extend slightly below the surface of the epidermis. In normal situations they lie obliquely on the skin, that is flat on the skin. Okay, then they have a second part which is known as the hair root, which is embedded inside the dermis. Okay, and the lowest part of the root hair is expanded to form a hair bulb. Okay, so here you have the part which is extending out, hair shaft. Okay, and then you have a rounded portion which is known as the hair bulb. So here you can see this is the hair shaft which you see, and if you go deep inside there, the hair follicle, it is the part where the hair bulb is embedded. The hair bulb contains a projection of the dermis, that is from the dermis it continues behind and it is known as hair papilla. Okay, and inside the hair papilla you'll find capillary blood supply. Okay, that is blood capillaries are there. Now the hair follicle, as I already told you, is a structure in which the bulb of the hair is embedded. So the hair follicle is a structure enclosing the hair root. It is made up of an epithelial and a connective tissue sheath. Now the hair bulb and the hair follicle together are responsible for the growth and elongation of the hair, that is the hair becomes long. Why? Because the hair bulb and the hair follicle pushes the dead cells outside. Okay, now remember, the growth of hair occurs by addition of cells at the base which soon dies. These are dead cells. Now hair follicles have pigment cells. Okay, pigment in the skin, you know, it is nothing but melanin. So the color of hair is due to varying quantities of melanin. So when there is less melanin in the body, hair becomes gray, okay, especially in the hair, silvery, or even completely white. That is, as the person becomes older, there is less melanin production in the skin. As a result, the hair also turns gray, silver, and it turns completely white. Okay, now every one of you must have experienced goosebumps or goose flesh during winter or during some emotion. You see, I got goosebumps all over. Okay, so in this, the hair is lifted up, it becomes erect, it becomes straight. Okay, and it is known as Pilo erection. Okay, and this erection takes place on your skin. Okay, and the surface of the skin becomes contracted and wrinkled appearance. Okay, that is why you see the goosebumps. This is caused by the erector, also known as the erector muscle of the hair, which runs obliquely between the hair follicle. So you find this muscle touching the hair follicle and the outer part of the dermis. So when this muscle contracts at one end, it pulls the hair at the other end, and the hair stands straight, okay, in a vertical position, and at the other end the epidermis is depressed, giving you the goosebumps. So hair in human beings are continuously lost and it is regrown. Okay, the duration of scalp hair, that is your hair in your head, is 2 to 5 years, and that of the eyebrows and eyelashes, I don't know whether you've even noticed, it is only 3 to 5 months. So continuously new hair grows in your body. Now hairs from different parts of the body, that is the head, chest, armpits, or beard, or nose, show subtle differences. Subtle differences mean small differences. Okay, and these hair are used in forensic investigation. You know, forensic means for some crime detection investigations. Now hair also provide a sensation of touch because you have nerve fibers at their bases. Okay, there are hairs along the edges of the eyelids, that is your eyelashes, which does not allow the entry of foreign particles, dust particles. Okay, again, in the same way, you have hair inside the nose to prevent dust particles from entering the nasal passages, and facial hair in human males, especially men, they have mustaches and beard. It also helps in distinguishing the male from the female. So this is known as sexual dimorphism. The next derivative of the skin are the nails. You know, nails are hard, they are made up of keratin, so hardened keratinous. They are plate-like flat structures. They grow as dead cells from the nail root, which is below the skin at the base. From the nail root, it is pushed in the upward direction. Okay, the nail has three parts. First is known as the plate, that is the hard and outer part of the nail that is visible, that you can see, is known as the nail plate. It is made up of dead keratinized cells made up of keratin. Okay, next is the bed or the root, which lies just below the nail plate, that is, it holds the plate, nail plate, into place. Next is the matrix. You will find matrix just below the skin surface at the base of the nail. Okay, and if you look at your nail properly, especially your thumbnails, you will see it as a whitish half moon shape at the base of the nail. So that is your matrix. It produces new cells which on maturation, when these new cells, so there at the point where you can see it is half moon shape, there new cells are produced, and these new cells become mature and push out the older cells towards the tip of the nail and causes the growth of the nail. The next derivative of the skin are the sebaceous glands. Now these are branched glands, okay, and they open into a hair follicle. If you remember the hair follicle, where the hair is embedded, the bulb of the hair is embedded. Okay, though sometimes they even open directly to the outside, but maximum they open into the hair follicle. So sebaceous glands, they secrete an oily secretion which is known as sebum. This makes the hair and the outer part of the skin oily and waterproof. So what is the function of the oily secretion or the sebum? To keep the skin oily and waterproof, okay, so that the epidermis becomes supple, that means it doesn't become dry, and then there is no loss of moisture by evaporation. When the skin becomes oily, water will not be able to evaporate away from our body. Now when it is cold and dry during the winters, the skin will become rough, and yeah, during the winters, if you have noticed, if you scratch, white marks are left behind, that is, a powdery surface is left, and this is due to the reduction of oil. So during the winters there is less sebum produced in the skin from the sebaceous glands, and when it is hot and humid during the summers, we need more water retention in the body. The skin becomes extra oily because more secretion of sebum takes place. Now there are three problems related to the sebaceous glands. What are they? First, pimples. All of you are aware how much we dread pimples. We do not like pimples, okay? So how are pimples caused? By accumulation of sebum. When sebum gets accumulated in the hair follicle, what happens is it causes the growth of bacteria, because it is nutritive. Bacteria will come to eat the sebum, okay, and then it becomes infected, and then it results in the formation of boils and pimples, okay. Next is acne, okay. Sebaceous glands, they become inflamed, they get swollen up due to hormonal influence. That is, acne is bigger than pimples, okay, and it is one of the most commonest problems seen in adolescents or teenagers, okay. Now next we have blackheads, when an open pore in the skin gets clogged with dead skin. Now if there is an open pore in your skin and there lots of dead skin gets accumulated, okay, that pore becomes clogged, okay, and not only with dead cells, the sebum will also be not able to come out, so it will get clogged there. So what happens when it comes in contact with air? It turns black. Why? Because it gets oxidized by the air, and that time it is known as a blackhead. This is all for today, children. For your assignment this week, which you will submit day after tomorrow, write down briefly about the three skin derivatives that we just did, that is hair, nails and sebaceous glands. Till then, children, stay safe. God bless you.